Yesterday, today, Jesus. All of us who experienced these past years at Colorado Christian University would immediately recognize the unapologetic acknowledgement of Him who is responsible for all that is there, the author and finisher of our faith, Jesus, 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 Jesus.
We all know how young kids like to dream. And we all can probably look back to times in our life like, maybe I want to be a pro sports athlete, or I want to be a fireman, or maybe a fighter pilot, or possibly one of the kids in the group might utter something like, when I grow up, I want to be a lawyer. More often than not, when you find yourself part of one of these conversations, don't you just sort of sit there and chuckle inside, if not maybe a little bit out loud, and think to yourself, yeah, we'll see about that. How many kids do you think there are out there who actually end up going through with what they said they wanted to become when they were in one of those conversations when they were just kids, and actually become who they said they wanted to be? Oh, like for example, when maybe they were just 12 years old. I honestly don't know, because that's not why we're here today. But if I had to guess, my guess would be that the number is most likely quite low, maybe even just a fraction of a percent. For those of you who know Stephen, you know that from a very young age, he has loved all things sports. At just 4 years old, Stephen had memorized the entire roster of the Super Bowl 32 champion Denver Broncos, as well as the roster of the team that brought Elway and the Broncos their second Lombardi trophy the following year. Stephen started playing baseball pretty much from the moment that he could walk, because his brother couldn't wait to teach him to play the game that he loved. If you know Stephen, you know that he is an encyclopedia for all things sports. And yet, if you know Stephen, you know that from the time he was just 12 years old, when people would ask him what he wanted to be when he grew up, he didn't say a professional athlete like you might think. No, Stephen knew at the age of 12 that for him, being a professional athlete was more than likely an impossibility. So if you would have asked Stephen at the age of 12 what he wanted to be when he grew up, you would have heard him say that he wanted to go to law school and follow in his father's footsteps in becoming a lawyer. While most people most likely thought, okay, Stephen, that's nice, you want to be like your dad, but we'll see. But for Stephen, it was more than just one of those what do you want to do when you grow up conversations. He felt a calling at the age of 12 years old, and he set his sights on pursuing the calling he felt. I would imagine that you might be struggling to picture what a laser-focused 12-year-old looks like. Well, let me explain. Sure, Stephen grew up like any normal kid. He loved playing baseball, he loved all things sports, and he loved just being a kid. But what made Stephen different than most kids is that he always knew that the day would come when he would have to hang up his cleats. He knew that the baseball road would run out for him. So after graduating high school, Stephen enrolled in Colorado Christian University. Many people asked him if he was going to try out for the baseball team there, and even though he was good enough to play baseball at CCU, Stephen knew that he would never make it past playing college baseball. So Stephen would answer, no, I am going to join the debate team instead to prepare for law school. And join the debate team he did. 4 years seemed to fly by, and the time had come to choose which law school to attend. Stephen was offered various scholarship options at universities like Alabama, Minnesota, and Ohio State, among others. So like anyone trying to pick a school, Stephen set out to visit some of those universities. He set out on a trip to the Midwest. The first stop, the Ohio State University. While the university was nice, it didn't feel like home for Stephen. So he was off to the next stop on his tour. Leaving Columbus, the GPS was set for South Bend, Indiana, home of Notre Dame University. There's a saying that Notre Dame is your home under the dome for all who attend the storied university. Well, Stephen quickly found that to be the case for him. From the minute he arrived in South Bend and drove on campus, seeing the bright gold dome, Stephen knew that he was home. So he committed to Notre Dame and started his law school journey in August of 2016. There is a saying that life is lived when you least expect it. Let me explain. Obviously, Stephen went to Notre Dame for school, and it was very challenging and difficult academically. But when I say life was lived, that is not what I'm referring to. What I mean is, well, Stephen was achieving a very challenging dream. I believe he would tell you that what made his home under the dome so special was not the classes that he took or the papers that he wrote. Now, I believe he would tell you that what made Notre Dame special was going to the football games and the tailgate parties. Late night study sessions in study room B332, which happened to be the room where he planned his proposal to the love of his life, Mikhail. Maybe he was going for tacos with his roommates or venturing to King Euro. It could have also been his family visiting him at Notre Dame to cheer on the Fighting Irish on the storied gridiron. What made Notre Dame a special place for Stephen will live in his heart forever was the relationships he made during his time there, the moments he shared with his friends, and the memories that were made. As is the case with life, when you are living in the moment, time seems to fly by. And that was the case with Stephen. 3 years flew by, and Stephen's time under the dome was nearing its end. The dream of a 12-year-old kid was approaching completion. The time had come to bid his home under the dome farewell. But can you truly ever say goodbye to a place where so much life was lived? I'd like to say no. While Stephen had to bid farewell to the physical place of Notre Dame, I believe that bright golden dome will always stand tall in the distance like a lighthouse in a storm, as a reminder that evokes the warmest of emotions. Because the truth is that the spirit of Notre Dame lives on in all who attend and walk her storied hallways and pathways, and that bright golden dome will always be home no matter where life leads. But like I said in the beginning, what brought Stephen to Notre Dame was a 12-year-old dream of earning his Juris Doctorate. And on May 18, 2019, he officially achieved his dream.
It's my great pleasure to welcome you to Notre Dame Law School's 2019 Diploma and Hooding Ceremony. Today we celebrate the 174th commencement exercises of the University of Notre Dame and the 148th year in which the Notre Dame Law School has conferred degrees. This is a day for celebration and a very special occasion for our graduates and their families and friends. Graduates, thank you for bringing your talent and hard work here to Notre Dame. You came from across the country and across the world, each bringing something unique with you. You've worked hard and accomplished a great deal. You've made significant contributions during your time here, and you've enriched the Notre Dame Law School community. Your path leading to this moment has not been yours alone. All along the way, throughout your life, You've been supported by parents, family, friends, and mentors. They've encouraged you, they've made sacrifices to help make this moment possible. And many of them have traveled here today to share this milestone with you. We thank them and honor them. Members of the class of 2019, you will leave today with a law degree. More importantly, you'll leave here today a Notre Dame lawyer, a different kind of lawyer. You will forever be members of the Notre Dame family. The friendships, relationships, and connections you've made will be with you for the rest of your life. And now, will the candidate for the degree of Doctor of Juridical Science please stand? Dean Newton, on behalf of the faculty, I have the honor to present to you the candidate who has successfully completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Juridical Science.
By the authority vested in me as Dean of the Notre Dame Law School and the University of Notre Dame du Lac, and in the name of the trustees of the university and the faculty of the law school, I confer upon you, who have made significant progress in learning and give promise to further achievement, the ancient rank of doctor, with all the appropriate rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations.
Stephen Thomas Scheffe, Littleton, Colorado.
Like is the case with anything in life, there comes a time when it's time to turn out the lights and move on. Times like this are always bittersweet because it means that a chapter is closing. And it can be hard to escape the feeling of sadness, realizing that a monumental moment has come to its end. Ed Helms' character, Andy Bernard, in the hit television show The Office, said it best when he said, "I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them." I want to leave you all with this. The spirit of Notre Dame lives on, because all who grace her hallowed halls make the University of Notre Dame du Lac what it is. Now, wherever you find life's journey taking you, Stephen, you will take the spirit of Notre Dame with you. You are now part of an elite fraternity that makes up a different kind of lawyer. May you never lose sight of that. There is a belief that when a loved one experiences something in maybe just a small way, you experience it with them. And so, I would like to invite all who view this video to hold on to that same spirit that makes the University of Notre Dame du Lac such a special place.